There's rules in prison. So when you get new roommates, you're not an outwardly friendly, sociable person in prison.
You're not shaking hands and
it takes a while.
Doing name tags.
You're observing. You're kind of judging people's character. You're looking to see if they're shiesty. There's all sorts of things that you're looking for in there. So there was even a rule that the first 10 people that approach you into a new dorm are the ones that you don't want to talk to. They've got some motive.
Welcome to Meredith for Real, the Curious Introvert. That's me. I'm Meredith, and I collect people. For real. You never know who I'm going to meet next. So come listen as I put my curiosity to good use. Every week, I'll introduce you to someone new, and we'll talk about ways to stay curious and grow. Big thanks to our location sponsor, Delta Life Fitness in Pace, Florida, the 30-minute women's group fitness plan you can actually stick with.
If you bought ecstasy in the 90s in Pensacola, chances are good you got it from our next guest. His lifestyle got him in and out of jail a dozen times before eventually going to prison for 11 years for burglary with aggravated battery, great bodily harm. After being a statistic, he became determined to break the mold and now runs a $1 million company and navigates the challenges of raising happy, healthy boys. Today, he's going to tell his story of what led to prison, the types of people you find there, and the mindsets that can pull you in and lift you out. Prisoner no more. ADHD success story. My cousin-in-law and in love, Jason Edwards, everyone. Ta-da! You made it.
I did.
So take me back to when you first got arrested. Kind of what was your mindset, outlook, what was going on back then?
Well, which one? You start when I was 16 or 15 maybe. It was a long road from a broken family, father out of the picture, It rapidly got worse as I got older and then turned into an adult, and then drugs came into it, and then I saw I could make money this way, and then I was wrapped up in all of that. It was attractive, right? It was a easy way to make money, and it was.
Yeah, is it one of those things like once you kind of get wrapped into it, it's hard to just go, you know what, guys? I'm good. Never mind.
It is. I usually take whatever I'm doing, and I take ownership of it. So, back then there was a lot of people that depended on me. I know this sounds weird, but there were people that depended on me to help them make rent or help them make money, or you had to feed the. And this is a terrible story, but feed the addictions. And I was the person, so it became like the center point of a lot of people, and then at some point, naturally with drugs, they tear you apart, they rip you up, and they spit you out, and they don't care, right? So at some point, it started getting rough. It was easy at the beginning, I'm this social butterfly, I'm happy, I'm always got jokes, I'm a comedian, right? And, at the beach, surfing, whatever, party, and then it started getting serious. Like, this is a lot of money here, and people started, like, taking angles at me, and then I didn't trust anybody, and then there was these pockets of enemies, like it was real. It was intense. And
quantify a lot of money, because people don't know.
So it was about 1,000 pills of X a week, anywhere from $25,000 a week to 30. It just depended. I mean, it depends on
$25,000 a week.
It was a lot. It was a lot of money moving through Pensacola at that time. Yeah.
Well, no wonder it got serious real fast.
And so I go from this, just, hey, let's just hang out and, have a good time and just be this butterfly in life, to like, protecting and scared and defensive. And there were people that came with me just as like help, like just to have, not protection, but it was protection. I mean, there were people out there that at some point thought that they could take from me what they thought was easy, I guess. Yeah. And then that's when the charges ended up. So, there was a lot of stupid, silly stuff along the way, driving with a suspended license here or there, or, random small charges that just kind of kept me on the path of building the resume for ultimately my demise. And then one day they finally took it. So they took it. They attempted to take it. And at this point, you got the whole underground town of Pensacola. You got the whole underground town of Pensacola looking at me, going, "How are you going to react to this?" You know, and like it was like I had to act as aggressive and a bully, and I had to, you know, it was this persona that I had built up to you know, just represent in a way that kept me safe, I guess is the best way to put it. Unfortunately, I didn't know at the time, and no, you know, ignorance is no excuse to the law. I learned real quick. Is that charge is one of 7 in Florida punishable by life charges. So at the end of all that, this happens, we fight, somebody gets hurt. You know, I'm kind of rapidly firing through this pretty intense moment of my life, and investigators are coming, and I'm like, whoa, I don't know what's going on here. Like, all this stuff's coming at me, and I was at the bottom of the barrel here, right? I was the worst of the worst in Pensacola at the time. You know, I had no morals, I had no integrity, I didn't have anything. You know, just it was every day, get up and do your thing. And then now these investigators are coming, and they're asking me these questions, and I'm like trying to paint this picture of, you know, the preacher's grandson, and, you know, like, oh, I'm okay, it's cool, you know, and they saw right through it, you know, and so yeah, they charged me with, as it said, aggravated battery of great bodily harm, burglary of battery, and as I started fighting my case and spending tons of money on you know, attorneys and stuff. I mean, I realized I'd made a mistake that I cannot come back from now, and it's just pay the piper. And
so that's when you started realizing, like, prison might be happening.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was no question about it. It was 30 years on the table, like right off the bat. Or first they were like, you know, this is a punishable by life charge. And I was like, no, I didn't. We just got in a fight. I was just trying to downplay this thing. And we did. We really did get in a fight. You know, I mean, without going into all the specifics of the story, they started a fight with me. I responded, and then here we are, and I'm the bad guy, you know, and I was. So it was really hard for me to, it was really easy for me to accept kind of how the everything transpired, because when my mind was clear and the world around me wasn't coming at me at all angles really fast, and it was easy for me to kind of see. I mean, I was raised right, you know. I mean, my grandparents and my mom, and there was deep-rooted stuff that says, hey, you're a good guy, you know. I just lost my way, so
you're not giving yourself excuses. You're saying, like, hey, I should have known better, and
I should have known.
I got wrapped up, and
right,
yeah.
And so, I mean, even through the case, I didn't really fight it and say not guilty. I'm saying, hey, I did this. These are the things that I want to do not to do it again, and have mercy on me, pretty much, you know? It's just, and the judge, I think, I mean, most people wouldn't agree to it, but I think that she was lenient, but I was staring down 30 years, and they weren't coming off 30 years for about 8 months. It scared the crap. Anyway, I'm like telling the story now, and it's
okay.
weird.
They're part of the story too. Yeah. So yeah,
but
absolutely.
So
when you got to prison, tell me about the people that you met there and the types that. Well, explain the difference between jail and prison, because I didn't know until kind of recently, and I don't think most people know.
Right. So. All right, so county jail is where you go waiting to go to prison, or if you've done something that doesn't deem a state crime, that that you'll do county time. So there's 2 different ways to do time. I've been through both of them quite extensively. I have an opinion that it should be prison over county, and the reasons is in county jail everybody's waiting on a charge. Mm-hmm. They're waiting on the judge. Their family members are screaming at them. Their girlfriends or wives are like going, "What the heck?" And so there's a lot of stress. The high energy in there's a lot of stress. It's really, really stressful, and so there's a lot of anger going on there. There's a lot of people coming off drugs or alcohol, and that's frustrating. Then they want to fight. So there's just this,
because you're all together.
Yeah, it's all community based. I mean, you've got 2 levels, 2 beds per level, and 12, so 24, I don't know.
And then
36.
In prison, you have like a room.
It depends on your custody. So in prison, you have either cells if you're like a high risk of escape. So a person on life sentence is not going to be in an open bay dorm, right? Or if you have like a past of aggression, like you're just an angry person. You've fought with the, prison guards, or you do a lot of fighting with prisoners, or
Yeah.
so if you're doing all that, then they want to lock you up at night as to not, keep you a close key, but
In your kennel.
right, yeah. And with my charges, that's where I started. So I get off, I'm getting ahead of here. So let me back up for a second. So they give me the sentence. I'm sitting in county jail and I'm waiting for prison. Right now, I have just gone through a labyrinth of nightmares. For. That was a long time. 17 months, I want to say, that I stayed in county jail, fighting the charges and, not necessarily fighting them, but just going through the motions. There was no fighting. I did it, But so I'm sitting in there, and now my mind's is to the next stage. Like, okay, what's next? What's going on? Where am I going? How do I get through this? I've got all these years ahead of me, over a decade. And, like, how do I get through this? And I remember... The first thing that I remember about going to prison was they wake you up in the middle of the night. You don't know that you're going, and you're not supposed to know you're going, right? Because they don't want the bus to get overturned by somebody. So your name comes up on a list like a lottery ticket. They wake you up at like 2 a.m. They tell you to wrap all your stuff up. They put you in a knapsack, and you go down into the tank, and there's no communication with anybody except the people in the tank. So I'm down there. I'm a nervous wreck because here it is, right? I'm doing the Green Mile walk, right? And I'm a nervous wreck, and I've got all these questions. I'm like, I'm a talker. So like when I want to figure something out, I want everybody's brains to tell me what's going on. And so I'm a talker. I'm asking all these questions with these guys. And this old school guy comes up to me and he sits down. He's like, boy, he's like, you're too young. And I was like 21, I think at the time. He's like, man, you're too young to be doing this, And he's like, and I was like, man, I'm a nervous wreck. And he was like, look, it's going to be simple. This is all you got to do. He said, stay away from the homosexuals in prison, stay away from the drugs in prison, and stay away from the gambling. If you stay away from those 3 things right there, you're going to make it through your time. You do have a release date, right? And I was like, I do. He's like, follow those 3 rules. Man, I wrote them down every day. It was my mantra. For the first year, I'm just kind of, in prison doing those things. I remember getting off the bus and I got my knapsack over me, which is all your, underwear, socks, letters, pencils, paper, And I remember like walking down the line, and they're telling the inmates, hey, you're going to this dorm, you're going to this dorm, you're going to this dorm. And I was like the only one that had like a punishable by life charge. So my custody level was really, really high coming off the bus. And so I'm the only one going down there to this T building, they called it. And as I'm going, I'm just like, I felt really on the street, selling drugs, running the streets, having my friends, all that. Man, I felt really, really big. Right at this moment, I felt about that big.
Yeah.
And so I'm just trying to keep my eyes forward, and I'm just like, man, this is day 1 of a decade. Like, holy,
Yeah.
So, first, everything. First jail cell, first cellmate was a murder of his child. Like there was like so many things that I had to like instantly become okay with, right? So what do you do here? Like I don't approve of this. I don't really want to be around this person. I'm really not really wanting to go to sleep tonight when they lock these doors,
Yeah.
But I have to, you got to maintain a presence. You got to keep your chest up. You
Right.
got to be strong.
Your body language has to be
specific, right? And all the while in my head, I'm going, oh my God, what am I doing?
Right.
But
I'm really sorry. Yeah.
oh, cool. No, I won't do it again.
So are you bunked with this person?
I was.
So it's like bunk beds.
Yep. Well,
and
yep.
So baby killers like right above or below you.
Below me, yes. And then come to find out as I met all these people, man, it's a whole new world in there. It's a whole world. Like everybody you can think of. Everybody. I was, and I'm getting ahead of myself here, but I'm going through 10 years of experience. I'm just throwing ideas out.
No, it's good.
So I was bunked with Fast Freddie Yoakum, which was one of the top 3 notorious jewel thieves in America. He used to work for the mob. He passed away now. But when I had him, when I was in a bunk, this is one of my favorite. There's a couple of good ones. Like I've met some pretty famous people. Not that this is saying you go to prison to meet famous people, but so he comes in. He's just this old man. He's been in prison like 60 years. I have no idea who he is. Didn't even know he had a story. But he's dying from cancer, and they've been fighting the good fight, and he comes in and he's like, my name's Fast Freddie Yoakum, or no, he says my Freddie Yoakum, and he had these guys coming in. So there's rules in prison. So when you get new roommates, you're not really, you don't you're not an outwardly friendly, sociable person in prison.
You're not
you
like
know?
shaking hands and
It takes a while.
doing name tags.
Yeah, you're observing. You're kind of judging people's character. You're looking to see if they're shisty. There's all sorts of things that you're looking for in there. So, there was even a rule that, the first 10 people that approach you into a new dorm are the ones that you don't want to talk to. They've got some motive,
Hey everyone, it's time to take a quick minute and show gratitude to our sponsors who make this show possible and give you some special offers. Delta Life is ladies group fitness in Pace, Florida, and I've been a member since 2016. I get bored super easy and I am great at talking myself out of exercise, like expert level 5,000. So having a class to show up that's different every time has been winner, winner, chicken dinner for me. And with it just being 30 minutes, there's really no reason not to go. Plus, they do fun social stuff like Christmas pajama parties, little black dress events, and challenges. You can get your first class free to try it out. You can even come with me. There's no annual contract. It's all fitness levels, free childcare. Plus, if you mention the Meredith for Real podcast on your first visit, you'll get a free 5-pack of classes, so you can really see if you like it. Check them out at deltalifefitness.com.
How did you figure that out though? Like, obviously there's no handbook.
Watching and learning and mistakes. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many fights that I had been in there when, there was, sometimes there's just evil people and they don't care,
Did you meet anyone there that like you felt like could be me or you, just, like someone who was in the wrong place at the wrong time? And
absolutely. And that's where the observations come in. So you meet a lot of really cool people in there, good people, not cool, but good people, that have all made the mistake. I mean, there's a lot of people in there that are committed to trying to do better, trying to figure out the problem at hand when you're in prison is what got me here and how do I prevent this again, right? Mm-hmm. If you're someone that wants to repair,
right,
your life and not do this again, and there's pockets of people in there everywhere. So you got your gang members, there's just all sorts of people that like to read, people like to do sports, people that like to write, so there's all sorts of different I want to say not trades, maybe trades or things that they're interested in. And then those are the pockets that you circle around. And inside those pockets, there's little pockets of people that get along better. And so, you start, when you start to see that you're getting along with somebody or you're really liking where they're at and their personal growth, then y'all, you click up and you start doing time together and bouncing ideas off each other. I've probably got a little piece of my success is probably broken down into 3 or 4 people in there where I've just really enjoyed their perspective and said, nope, I'm going to adopt that. And you've met one of them, Roger Jump. He was at our wedding, and even with him, he was probably the most instrumental role there, and he taught me what integrity meant and like how to walk and just a man of your word, and
I think that would surprise a lot of people, like what you're saying about first of all, that you even had control about who you could hang out with, but that has a little bit to do with the security level of the prison that you're at.
Right.
And second of all, that there would be people in there who would be inspiring because, as you know, there's people out there that really just think like, I have heard some of my family members say this, like, well, you're in prison, so you shouldn't have TV, you shouldn't have college books, this is not fun time, this is punishment time.
Yep, you're right. There is. There's all sorts of perspectives here. So, the judge even told me. I told her, man, I've been this much time in prison or in jail. I've been incarcerated. I've tried to rehabilitate myself, and I don't think that rehabilitating myself is going to do good in prison. Now I changed that now. I absolutely had to go to prison to learn to be where I'm at today. I had to go through it. There was nothing else that was going to stop this train from going down that road. And
so, how did you maintain? How did you get a new perspective while you were in prison? Because you had a certain mindset going into prison, right? Then you had it totally shake up when you were doing the walk.
Right.
And then when you're in prison, obviously you could just go down a really dark path of hopelessness and despair. And there's obviously things you can get caught up with in prison. How did you stay out of that? Like mentally,
Read. I read thousands and thousands of books. Like, seriously, even my wife was amazed when she started talking about these books and just didn't think of how much reading that I did. She's like, man, you're really well read. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't have anything to do for a decade, you know. But yeah, so I instantly, like you said, what do I want to do with my time? How do I want to spend my time in here? And I wanted to spend it growing. I wanted to grow, like physically, spiritually, mentally. I wanted to grow. I just wanted to be a better person. I wanted to make better choices quicker. Like, I do make good choices. Even in my bad moments, I do make them. It just takes me a really long time to get there. I just need to be able to make those, faster. And so, and that's what I did. For 10 years, I stayed in school, vocational trades, read books, self-help books, and my family. So you can see this goodness happen in your family member in prison. You know, my family would come and visit me, and they would see this inspiration, or I'm something's inspiring me. I have this glow about me. I'm really excited about certain topics, of learning, of painting cars. I could go. You would laugh at all the ideas that I had, but I had all these ideas, and as this idea came, I would write my family and say, hey, could you send me a book on painting cars? Could you send me a book on how to run a sports bar? Because I was big into football, and I had all these ideas of what would be a really cool football, cool spot, and there was all sorts of things, cleaning boats, leasing cameras. I mean, I could just go on and on, all these ideas, and my family would see these things, and they would be like, yep, nope, I can send you a book. And why? Because that's good food for thought.
Right.
He didn't ask me for anything that was like a negative in his. It was a growth, and so they supported me every time. And when I asked them for stuff that they didn't want me to digest, they told me, no, I'm not going to buy these books. I wanted to get in like metaphysical, religion. Like I wanted to get on the metaphysics of it. And so I was asking my mom, hey, I want you to buy me this metaphysical dictionary. And she's like, nope.
Aunt Lydia ain't doing that.
Ain't doing that. So I'm like, please, I mean, anyway, so that's what I did. I educated myself. I just stayed in there, stayed focused. I wanted to make sure, because I already knew it when I was getting out, that the charges that I had were going to be a tick on me. I mean, like, I'm coming out and I'm going to say, hey, I'm this shining, awesome person. Please give me a chance. And they're like looking at your record and going, no, you're a terrible person. So I wanted to allot myself every opportunity I could when I got out to say, hey, no, I do know about this. I can do that. I didn't want to have someone that wanted to give me a shot not give me a shot because of my experience. So, like, I knew computers were going to be a big thing. And they weren't that big when I went in, but I knew they were going to be a big thing. So, I got into classes that had computers so I could learn computers. I took PC support, how to learn software, build a computer, and, all the software applications like that.
Do you feel like you would have done as well out of prison if you hadn't had those programs in prison?
Nope. I would have never stopped. There wasn't anything out here that could stop me and say, hey, you need to learn something, or you need to change your perspective about life, or you need to treat people better, or you don't need to destroy. I mean, and this is the biggest thing. There are people in this town now still that have that drug addiction, and there are people in there that I feel responsible for. Like, I can remember when these, that little epidemic of ecstasy hit Pensacola back then, and I hold those things responsible. I mean, I hold myself accountable for that. And those are I don't know. I'm losing my thought there with
it's okay.
with the the repercussions of it. It just didn't destroy my life. It destroyed everybody that was associated with me back then. Even my brother. Lucky for me, I think he really did learn his lessons. And I'm not going to say he learned them all from me, but I can tell you that my little road to prison really scared him. He still bumped his head a couple of times. He had to learn his own lessons, but he came out the other end a lot better position.
I think what a lot of people don't realize is we're really all just one or two bad decisions away from going to jail and possibly also going to prison.
Yeah.
You told me about that guy that had that DUI. He was like on leave or something, the military guy, and he had no prior.
Nope, he had no priors. He was a good guy, and he's still a huge advocate right now in the world. I mean, you can see him on TV. He does big speeches around America about drunk driving and what it can do for people. I mean, and the funny thing about so here's how that goes down. He has a beer. He is over he's over a legal limit, right? But he wasn't driving crazy. He was in functional he had good faculties about himself going home, and someone else lost control of their car, hit the other car hit him, that car runs off. These girls died that ran into him, but because he had alcohol, he goes to prison. DUI, driving under the influence, and it cost their life, And it's like, man, you're just driving down the road, minding your own business. Yep, I had a couple beers for lunch with my buddies or whatnot, and next day you're in jail and fighting for your life. And he had like 30 years, 40 years on that?
Yeah, I think I read at least 30, I think.
Which is a lot of time. Now, he beat it. He come back, the family of the, daughters, saw that they're, as they kind of got through their grief and probably looked at it as a whole, they realized that it really wasn't his fault.
Well, they asked him to go on tour with the family to do talks in schools, I think.
Oh, you read that. You read the article.
I do my research, please.
Yeah,
so prison's full of people that, like yourself, that you were going down a wrong path and you deserved to be in prison. And then it's, I guess everyone, you could say, deserved being in prison. But I guess what I'm saying is there's those people, unfortunately, that are just never going to rehabilitate. And, they're just always going to be down that path. But there's a lot of people in prison that are not like that as well. And we, on the outside, aren't all that different from those folks on the inside. So if you were going to, say something to a young person, or even just like a young adult going down this path that you were when you were in and out of jail for stupid stuff before you had the major arrest, what would you say to them?
So are we talking about the people that are being knuckleheads?
Yes. Dear knuckleheads.
Dear knucklehead. Well, and the funny thing is, you can't. I don't know that there's a way to stop it prematurely. I had to go through what I went through to get where I'm at. It was just an experience that I had to take. When you originally brought this kind of to me, and I was interested in it, you asked me, who did I want to touch, who did I want to talk to, who did I want to make a kind of a dent in their perspective, and really it's everybody. There's a little fruit on this tree for everybody to swallow, and for the guys that are headed down that path, or girls. It's everybody. Just when the world forces you to stop and take a look at yourself and self-reflect and do something better in your head, just do it. Just take the time and do it. It'll fix it.
Don't fight it.
Don't fight it, and you'll know it. And so I have a family member that has a son that's a cousin of mine, that he was another knucklehead. And when I got out and started, making better choices and, being productive and, just being a good person in society, he was reaching out to me, asking me how he should treat his son in there. He wants extra money for clothes or books or, all these. And I said, yes, if you have the means to support. If he's asking for things that can help him grow, support it. If you don't have the money, I get it. I understand if there's no support there, but if you have the ability to support. If they're asking for growth, some support, resources for their growth, then you got to give it to them. I was lucky to have that. And there were a lot of people in there. I still am connected to a lot of people in there now that are out, and they had support. Some of them didn't. So then you go into I have support. Are you interested in learning this? Here, read this book, So there's a lot of, cross trading, I guess you would say, in there, but
well, we are out of time for today, but this is so good. So in the next episode, we'll get to hear about the unexpected challenges of life on the outside and what life is like now, as well as a message for those in prison now or who have family members there. So be sure to get notifications of the new episodes like this one by texting REAL, REAL, to 66866. I almost forgot my own number there. So text REAL to 66866, and that way you'll be in the loop. That's a wrap for now.
Thank you.
Good job. Thanks for listening. If you liked this episode, share it with your friends and leave a review. You can also watch the episodes on YouTube. There's hidden curious caches in each episode, and the first 2 people to find them win a prize. So be sure to get my emails for clues and other insider perks at meredithforreal.com.